Look, it's my list, not your list. Just deal with it. Going with the aggressive intro for this third in 4 videos with my favorite 41 of 2017, leading up to the Oscar Awards tomorrow. Excited to finally get this out to you so that you can make fun of me for all my amazing choices. Again, these are my favorites, not necessarily the best. It's kind of asking the question, which movie would I put in right now if I had a choice between 2 movies, because I so much want to watch it again. That's kind of the essence of this. There's a little more than that to it, but that's kind of what defines a favorite for me. So let's kick it off in at number 20. It's Thor Ragnarok! Many people are calling this the funniest Marvel movie ever, which I get, because it's hilarious and it's intentionally a comedy in the way that I don't think others are. But Marvel movies have always been funny, and really funny. Guardians, Ant-Man have been really humorous. Spider-Man Homecoming, for that matter, is really funny. You know what it is about this movie for me? It's not just the laughs. For me, this is a movie that is so confident, thanks to Taika Waititi, in what kind of movie it wants to be. It's so aware of its quirkiness and in what kind of the aura of the whole thing is, that it just works. You're never distracted by some sort of misuse of tone or some sort of tone shift that comes out of nowhere. All of it is knit together in this beautiful and, yes, hilarious way. I love these characters. I love what they're doing. Thor Ragnarok, one of my favorites of the year. Next up at number 19, another in the category of ones you might have liked more than me, even though, again, it's number 19. I loved it. Is Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan is really operating on an interesting level here with what he does with the movement of time, with his willingness to kind of have meta-narratives going on. He's so smart. Dunkirk is no different. I love the structure of this movie. If I had to fault it, it would just be that I think it takes a few watches to really buy into it, and I'm not sure it's all there on the screen in the way he wants it to be, so it can be confusing, but yet it's interesting. Yes, we don't know the backgrounds of these characters, and yes, that is a problem for me story-wise, and probably the reason that this movie is in at number 19 and not in at number 3, so to speak, is because of those things. But you still can't get away from how beautiful and impressive and powerful this movie experience is. This was really a great year for watching movies on the big screen, and Dunkirk was one of the best. Number 18, my love for metaphor movies continues. Colossal. I don't know what to say. I've talked about this movie a lot, so there's not like a lot to add. But Anne Hathaway's performance is amazing. Jason Sudeikis' performance is amazing here. The beauty of being able to tell this science fiction story that works on a surface level almost completely. There's just a few moments where it doesn't. And then also works on this beautiful metaphorical level about substance abuse and toxic masculinity. And there's just these beautiful metaphors and symbolism in here as well. That's always going to be a 1-2 punch that catches my attention. I've seen this movie 3 times now. It is always powerful, always interesting. There's always little things about the metaphor that I didn't pick up on the time before. If you haven't seen Colossal, I highly recommend it. It is a great watch. In at number 17, maybe not the most underrated in my top 20, but I think the most forgotten. It's the one movie I feel like people aren't even thinking about. It's Split. If no other reason, to watch James McAvoy do these characters. I mean, I know he's supposed to have 23/24 personalities. He really only acts about, 8 or 9 of them? I say only. He plays 8 or 9 characters in the same movie, and he plays them flawlessly. It's an incredible work. It's so wonderful to see M. Night back doing movies that click like this. The surprise at the end, still not necessarily going to spoil it, but is the single best movie moment of the year for me. I think it was a magic trick that I don't know that any director before or after will ever pull off, because it's such a specific kind of magic trick. And it's just mind-blowing. This is a phenomenal movie. Even other than those things, it's a really good film. But because of those things, that's why it's so high up on my favorites list. This one might be the most underrated. In at number 16, Gifted. Why are people talking about Gifted? Or as my friend Jeremy calls it, the girl good at math movie. This is Chris Evans stepping out of Captain America, which is great because he's a really good actor, doing some amazing work here. The interplay of the relationships here between him and this girl, who, by the way, gives a phenomenal performance, between him and his mother, who also gives a phenomenal performance. All the relationships here are jiving and interesting in a way that keeps you glued to this story. The story itself is almost kind of basic. We've seen, the idea of a kid who's really good at something before in different ways. But the family dynamic and the ability to see both sides of what's going on here, I think elevates this to another level. Definitely one of my favorites of the year. On the number 15, this one dropped quite a bit for me over time, just because it's not sticking with me like I like my favorite movies too. I don't have this giant desire to see it again necessarily. It's The Post. Now, it's a great movie. It's incredible performances. I will still go to bat for Meryl Streep being nominated for this performance. I think it's nuanced in a way that is brilliant. Tom Hanks is so good. This cast overall is kind of mind-blowing. All these people who make up this incredible cast. But you know what? Even beyond the fact that it hasn't stuck with me, it's such an important and interesting part of our story of the free press that I didn't know, that I have to put it up this high. It's that meaningful, it's that interesting, it's that enjoyable. I mean, it's Spielberg. The dude knows how to make a movie, and this is a good one. Number 14, my highest rated superhero movie of the year. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I know, right? I cannot forget how much I bought in to this story. Not just the fun and humor of it, but the emotion of it. It is quite an incredible thing to do, what Guardians movies have done, which is to build emotion in the midst of the humor. They are saying things that are hilarious at the same time as moving things are happening. Now, if that doesn't work for you, I imagine it's very off-putting, but it worked for me. That Zondu stuff was absolutely touching for me, and at the same time, amazing and hilarious, and the action was incredible. I love Chris Pratt. I had such a great time here. The Guardians, I guess, part of the expanded universe is actually one of my favorite parts, and I would have never have believed that before the first movie came out. In at number 13, it's The Big Sick. Kumail, look what you and Emily did. This is amazing. It feels that way as a movie, right? It's like these guys who I know from stand-up comedy and just here and there in different TV shows, Silicon Valley, whatever. The fact that they just put this little story together and that it's so beautiful and so moving, so personal. It's like you're cheering. It's like one of your own kids is doing something amazing. I love The Big Sick. I love Holly Hunter in it. Absolutely love Ray Romano in it. There's some incredible scenes that I go back to. It has the best joke of the year when they're sitting at the lunch table and he says he lost 9 of their best guys that day or whatever. So funny, so great, so touching, so beautiful. Big Sick. Well done, Kumail and Emily. In at number 12 of my favorites of the year, the better Dunkirk movie. Oh, I know that one's not going to sit right with some people. That's how I feel. It's certainly one I enjoyed more. The performance, of course, is absolutely astonishing. It's transformative. Now, a lot of that has to do with the makeup, which I get, but at the same time, just makeup can't make a performance that good. There's great work being done there. I love the emotion of it more. I know the stories here in a way that is important. There's a scene on the train that where Winston Churchill is talking to the people of his country about what they think he should do that speaks to me in such a deep way right now. It's just a powerful film. And I really, truly believe the two of those films together would be something very, very special, because one gives the context that the other was missing, and the other gives like the high-mindedness and beauty and artistry that the other is missing, that The Darkest Hour is missing. In some ways, it's like The Post, where it's not a movie I feel like I have to get back to, but it's so good that it definitely deserves its spot right here on my favorites. And finally, in at number 11, I'm going to go with Wonder. here. Just missing the top 10. Some movies are just perfect. This is one of those perfect movies. It just, from the very moment you sit down in your seat or push play or however you experience it, you're just involved in the story. And it's because it's a powerful story. It's a good story. The performances are exactly what they need to be authentic and not over the top cheesy. Julia Roberts, Owen Wilson, Jacob Tremblay as this kid, and even beyond them are putting in great work. It is a powerful and an emotional movie that is worth emotionally investing in. And I think that's important for movies. So absolutely one of my favorites of the year. If you haven't gotten a chance to see Wonder, I would definitely check it out. Maybe it's a little too cheesy for you. I don't know. But for me, I felt like it was grounded and authentic enough to really sustain itself. So there you go. There's all the way up to number 11. We just got the top 10 left. We'll get to that tomorrow as we head up towards the Oscars. I am very excited to let you know my top 10. Feel free to give me some comments. Hit subscribe here on YouTube. Do the podcast thing, SiftPop, SiftPop in your podcast player. Just search for it. We're there. Also, follow me on Twitter. Let's hang out and chat on Twitter. Aaron Dicer, AARONDICER. Just search for my name. You should find my Twitter pretty easily in that way. And thank you so much for the support at patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. It means the absolute world to me. All right, back with the top 10 tomorrow, and we'll see how it lines up with the Oscars. Here's a hint, it won't.